In July of 1937, Japan declared war on China. Japanese forces had been in Manchuria since 1931. They'd also expanded in Korea and Taiwan. In 1937, Japan launched a full-scale attack against China. Japan was motivated to create an empire to gain natural resources, help their economy grow, and prove that Japan was a military giant. Japan used total war in China, which included intense bombings and a big ground invasion. The Japanese were brutal in China. 300,000 civilians were massacred in Nanking, and the U.S. Embassy was overrun with Chinese seeking refuge. As this was not an official war yet, FDR supported aid for the Chinese and economic sanctions against Japan. The League of Nations responded by encouraging its members to stop trading with Japan, but many nations did not sanction Japan because of the Depression and their own economic woes. Interestingly enough, Japan chose to leave the League rather than put up with discussion of its actions or face possible sanctions. The League's inability to act in a way that was meaningful meant that for Hitler, he was much like this kid in this candy store. With no one there to regulate payment or to regulate moderation, this kid could grab any jar of candy that he wanted and eat to his heart's content, without fear of retribution or any sort of problem. That's what's going to bring us to the next piece in Hitler's plan. In 1938, Germany annexes Austria and took over part of Czechoslovakia. Austria and Czechoslovakia included land that had been taken from Germany in the Treaty of Versailles at the end of World War I. Hitler claimed that the Germans in Austria were being treated like second-class citizens and as a despised minority. So, he argued, they should be able to help them by joining Austria and Germany together in the Anschluss into one nation. German soldiers marched in, forced the Austrian leader to sign an agreement, and took Austria without force. In a similar way, Hitler took the Sudetenland located in Czechoslovakia. It was Germany's land before the Treaty of Versailles had been lost. It's the orange land you can see here. However, the end result was the same. Germany took over this area of Czechoslovakia as well. The only question now is, how will the League and the rest of the world respond to Germany's aggressive acts? September 1938, the Munich Pact. Leaders of Great Britain, France, Italy, and Germany met in Germany in Munich to discuss the Czech territories. When Czechoslovakia strongly protested, both France and Great Britain agreed to come to military aid of Czechoslovakia, but fears of war led them to support appeasement instead. In the appeasement policy, Germany was given what it wanted to avoid war. In other words, they were allowed to keep their possession of the Sudetenland. They hoped that this would keep the peace, but they also made Germany promise not to take any more territory. Germany agreed, and the Munich Pact became a law for these nations. Great Britain's Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain felt that he had kept peace in our time, but he did decide to rearm Great Britain, just in case. In March of 1939, Hitler broke the Munich Pact and took the rest of Czechoslovakia. Notice Dr. Seuss's political cartoon making fun of appeasement. Remember, one more lollipop and then you all go home. Notice the Nazi monster threatening the appeaser who is trying to offer them lollipops they might want. I think his position is clear. If not, let's look at this one. The Great U.S. Slideshow. And on this platform, the most amazing marvel of his age, he lives, he talks, yet the guy has no guts. Dr. Seuss clearly isn't a fan of Chamberlain's.